Buff Nation!
Let's go.
Welcome into DNVR Buffs Prime Time. We are presented by Illegal Pete's, everyone's go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beers. Jake and RK, how was your fourth?
It was great, man. Won the Family Olympics again.
Let's go.
Allie and I, back-to-back champs, undefeated champs, considering the events have only been held for 2 years.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
They're going to name the trophy after you guys. At this
They
point.
are, yes. The RK and Allie Memorial Family Olympics trophy. I guess we would have to die for it to be a memorial trophy, so hopefully not. But yeah, just all-around dominant performance from us, top to bottom. And then had one of the best meals I've had in a long time.
Let's go.
Brisket, which was like an all-night, all-day situation. Little Shadors on there.
Yep.
Collard greens, mac and cheese, just like all the hits.
Let's go.
It was so good. I could eat it probably every day.
Yeah, my pops cooked up a brisket a few days ago and brought some back. It was so good. Everything was good. The collard greens were so good that I was so full, and I was just like, I just don't know if I'll ever have collard greens this good again in my life. I have to have more. Let's go. I love collard greens, man.
Oh,
best is if you have like some cornbread after you like dip it in like the little sauce.
Oh,
that's
yes.
left. Oh my god.
maybe the most underrated green is the collard green.
Probably. It's up there.
It's so good every time.
Is this a preview for your draft on the Broncos show tomorrow?
Green things. Yeah. It's a good one too.
All right, let's catch up on some recruiting stuff. DeAndre Robinson, we've talked about him a little bit. Big boy, 6'4", 300 pounds, 2024 defensive lineman. He's a 247 Sports Composite 4-star. He put CU in a top 10. So they're in the conversation. He's from Orlando, Florida. Could be another Florida guy on the way. Another Florida kid, though.
Let's go. Sign me up.
Kylan Fox.
Weird.
Had his commitment scheduled for the 4th of July. He committed to UCF yesterday. He had 4 hats on the table. No CU. After all of that, no CU. It was Ole Miss, UCF, Georgia Tech, and Florida State.
So odd.
Yeah.
Such a weird kind of ending to a story that we were paying attention to. Like I would maybe say there's a chance they flip him, but
yeah,
I wonder if maybe they stopped recruiting him or something along those lines.
Not sure. That is the 4th 4-star for UCF in this recruiting period.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for them, man.
Yeah.
We might be competing with them soon,
For sure.
which would be weird.
You know who's leading them?
Is it Josh Heupel? No, he went to Tennessee.
Tennessee. It's Gus Malzahn.
Oh my God, I would not have gotten that. I would have kept guessing young names.
No, it's Gus Malzahn. The Gus bus is back.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was Frost to Heupel. Then both of those went to Power 5. I guess they're Power 5 now too, but and then Malzahn was next, or was there a gap in there?
What was Heupel's first year? 2021? It wasn't last year, so I think so.
Okay.
And then we talked about San Diego State a bit on Monday.
No, that can't be true. Got to screen your comments better, yeah.
The Mountain West has said that San Diego State has left the conference, though.
Okay. What?
They said, remember that letter they sent at the end of May? Their intention to leave. The Mountain West called their bluff and said that was them leaving. They now owe the Mountain West money for their exit fee, upwards of like $16 million.
I mean, I'm guessing this goes to court. And, well, it'll definitely go to court. But I'm guessing that when it goes to court, the court will say the letter of intent to leave the conference did not count as officially leaving the conference. They're still in.
So Brett McMurphy of the Action Network is reporting that the Mountain West is withholding $6.6 million as a part of SDSU's $17 million exit fee due by July 1st, 2024. Of course, SDSU claimed on June 30th it did not officially notify the league they were withdrawing. The league's board of directors are going to meet on the 17th now to discuss the matter. That is 2 days before their media day, I think.
Everyone's trying to squeeze it in before the media day.
Yep.
So that's when they know they're going to have to answer questions.
Including the Pac-12. Who,
Yes.
At this point, get ready for a circus when we go to Vegas.
Maybe they'll host it at Circus.
They may need to. Commissioner Kolovkov coming on with like clown shoes or something.
Oh,
on.
jeez. Rides in on an elephant.
Big red nose.
Have you seen this sphere?
Dude. Holy cow.
Where did it come from?
Well, okay, so I've known about this for a few weeks because the F1 track, they had like renderings and they showed you the guys like driving by this. And I was like, what the hell is that?
Yes.
And now I'm seeing all these videos coming out.
Did you see the video of the person? So if you haven't seen this stuff, which I feel like all of you guys are as online as we are, so you probably have. There's like this new giant sphere in Las Vegas. And when I say giant sphere, I mean a giant fucking sphere. And I guess it's a concert venue, which is cool. I thought it was just like a feature at first.
I had no idea what it was. It wouldn't surprise me if it was a hotel.
They're opening it with a U2 concert, which I thought U2 was
Random?
over after they tried to force that album onto all of our iPods. But I guess they're still going. And anyways, have you seen the video from the road that someone took yesterday?
No.
There's definitely going to be accidents caused by this thing.
People watching
Because
it.
you just like drive over this hill and then all of a sudden there's just like this giant sphere and they had like fireworks going off of it for yesterday and like American flag and like there's just no way you're not like staring at that as you drive by.
Have you seen it when it's a giant eye?
No.
Yeah.
You guys know who the owner is?
No.
James Dolan, the owner of the Knicks.
Owner of the Knicks. Okay. That makes sense.
Damn.
I'm hoping that I'm going to Vegas on Friday,
There you go.
so I will not be here. And yes, I'm working, not twerking, although I'll try to mix in some twerking as well. I hope my hotel room has a view of the sphere. Probably watch that all day long.
I was gonna say you need to come back and tell me what the best like sphere moment was of the week.
Right. Maybe they'll turn it into the Larry O.B. and put the Nuggets
There
on there.
you go. That's what we're talking about. It's not
Prime.
shaped like a football. Well done. But the crystal BCS ball, you know what I mean?
They could probably have like hands around it and make it more round.
Yeah.
I missed that trophy. That trophy was sick.
That was one of the best trophies in sports.
Yeah.
Now we
Why
just
didn't
have
we
a-
just like buy that from Sears or whoever was the presenting sponsor?
now we have a gold beam.
And it's not as cool.
Not nearly as cool. Some people have been projecting wins for next season.
Okay.
This is from 247 Sports. They wrote this article, and they used the information on ESPN's Football Power Index. They went through and they found out the Buffs are not favored in any game besides the game against Colorado State.
Yeah, and this makes sense now, knowing what we know about what Vegas thinks about Colorado. So they've got them set at over under 3 wins. And we know they're 20-something point dogs to TCU. And so I wasn't surprised to see this. But I guarantee by the end of the season, that number is way up.
Oh, yeah. So last year, using these same power ratings, Colorado was projected as an underdog. This is in the lead up to the, I'm sorry, this is 2023. 11 games. So Colorado State, of course, the only one. That is Stanford, you're projecting them to be underdogs against. That is Nebraska at home. That is Arizona State. All these teams. There was one Pac-12 team, however, favored to win every game, or projected to be a favorite in every game, I should say. Do you know who it is?
One Pac-12 team projected to be a favorite in every game.
One.
Utah.
Washington.
Ah. Do they just have a cakewalk schedule?
It is.
We know their non-con is.
It's pretty embarrassing. But their Pac-12 slate is not near what the Buffs have to face.
Do they play USC? They probably don't play USC.
I can't remember off the top of my head. But Kelly Ford, I just found this page at K Ford Ratings on Twitter. They got a website, kfordratings.com. They do all sorts of stuff, power ratings, projected win totals, all these analytics. And they released the most improved teams in terms of expected wins.
Okay,
going
now we're
into
talking.
2023. Colorado's in the top 30,
Wow.
21st.
Okay.
1.7
Projected more wins?
additional. Yeah. That puts them right around 3.
What? What's the most?
USF with 3.8.
So they're expecting them to go from 1 to 4 wins. 5, I guess. We'll say 1 to 5. And that's going to be the biggest jump in the country.
Yep. Oklahoma's right behind them at 3.3.
And they have the Buffs at essentially 3.
Basically, yeah.
Man, I hate being in this position because I am such a homer that I'm just like, am I not seeing this clearly? Because I feel like Colorado might be the best opportunity to make money of any team in college football.
Yes.
But like, if I was talking about, I don't know, Baylor,
Right.
I would feel like I would trust my own take more. Mm-hmm. If I was just like, are they just completely missing that they overhauled the entire roster?
Right.
And like the coaching staff is elite. I would trust myself more on another team, but I think I'm right that Colorado might be the best money-making opportunity in the country in college football.
I think you're right. And I was listening to a podcast on Friday when I was driving to Utah, a betting podcast. They were previewing the whole Pac-12.
How was your 4th, by the way?
It was great.
Okay.
It was really
forgot
chill.
to return the question after you asked me.
Oh, it's all good. Spent time at home. We went to Topgolf.
Nice.
It was a good time.
How was the swing?
We were hitting them straight, man.
Hey,
I was
love
impressed
to
with
see it.
myself. Yeah. But anyways, I was on the road listening to this podcast, and they opened up talking about Colorado, and they talked about the transfers and how, they're FCS kids coming up. You know, how can they make the jump? But then when they talk about every other school and they bring up, they got a couple FCS transfers coming in. This guy was really good coming. No one talks about Colorado like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because of the numbers of the kids.
I
And
just
that's
think
what scares them.
Yeah, well, I don't think anyone else is able to pay close enough attention. There's so much that's changed. You know, for us, if one thing changes, that's a whole show for us.
Right.
For them, 50 things change between the times that they talk about Colorado, and they're just not able to keep up with it. Like, I guarantee you, no one outside of our little circle knows who Javon Antonio is.
Right.
Now, we're seeing a guy that we think might actually be a difference maker. For them, they've never heard his name.
Right.
And even if they did, they would see, okay, well, he's a transfer from the lower levels. Who cares? You know, like we get to hear like Cam Stillman, Craig talk about these guys right next to us. They're never hearing that. So for them, I just think there's too much change for them to zero in on any specific thing and actually drill in what that means for the football team.
Right. But they just group all these guys together. Like when they talk about Travis Hunter and Cormani McLean on a national perspective, and it's funny because this is stuff we saw a few months ago, but they still bring it up. These guys are allergic to the weight room. Like, it's just weird, the narratives that the national...
What?
Even national is kind of weird, but just the football, I guess, general consensus, what they think about Colorado at this point. As to your point, it's a lot of not paying attention, a lot of just, kind of writing him off and, Coach Prime, big name, whatever. But they're not doing... Even the best places out there, I don't think, are doing their complete due diligence on this team.
Yeah, and there are excusable things. Like, I excuse them for not knowing who Javon Antonio is.
Right.
The same way that, they don't know who a wide receiver on Cal is.
Exactly.
Or even USC. Like, I'm sure there's guys on that team that they aren't really familiar with. Saying things like Cormani and Travis are allergic to the weight room, that's
Literally,
irresponsible, disrespectful, and flat out wrong.
Yeah, not paying attention.
Yeah. Well, that's like, but don't have takes on things that you're not paying attention to.
Right.
Like they don't, like going back to the Javon Antonio example, they're not going to talk about him. They don't know who he is.
Right.
He wouldn't even, come across in their research because they're not digging deep enough. And that's hard to dig that deep on that level. But if you're going to say something like that about guys, you have to actually know what you're talking about.
Yeah. For what it's worth, the podcast I did listen to, they did hype up Sean Lewis and his ability to design and call an offense a lot. So.
All right. By the way, someone took issue with me calling the coaching staff elite. I don't think that's a problem. I think.
Why is that an issue?
Well, they were saying it's too much, too high of praise.
Look at where these guys are coming from.
Yeah.
I mean, from all over the SEC, Coach Prime himself.
You pulled a head coach of one of the most high-flying offenses in the country to come be your OC.
I think if you go back to the day Coach Prime was hired, and if you went back and showed you from 7 months ago this coaching staff and went, they're going to pull a guy named Sean Lewis, who was a head coach in the MAC. They're going to get Alabama's co-defensive coordinator, and showed you back on December 4th or whatever it was, there's no way you would have believed it.
Yes. And that's the thing is like all of this stuff happens so fast in our world.
Yeah.
Where we don't have enough time to like properly freak out over the fact that they got Charles Kelly to be their defensive coordinator. Because it's like in that time, everything was moving so fast that it was just like, okay, that's the headline. But there's also 13 other things we have to talk about that day.
Right.
Sean Lewis, we had a little bit of breathing room. I feel like we like fully were like, holy shit, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But I think the coaching staff is one of the best in college football.
Yeah. I think we'll see it on the field this year, too.
Yeah. All the way down to, Coach Mo.
For sure. Probably the most important coach, other than Coach Prime, on this team right now.
Yep. Makes players shudder when they hear his name.
Yep. Also, the fact that Coach Prime is the head coach. I mean, people just see that, I feel like, and they just don't dig deeper than that. Because he's such a big name, he's such a powerful person that the buck kind of stops with them. Or when you're breaking down this team, you know what I mean?
I'm excited for people to learn about how good of a coach Coach Prime is.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a lot of people who just think that he is a recruiting attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Even Buffs fans, casual.
Right.
Who are just like, yeah, I like the team. I'm interested in seeing what happens. I'll be at a couple games. Even they are just think like, oh, yeah, you hire Coach Prime because he helps recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
You hire Coach Prime because he's a great college football coach.
Yeah, he's been around the game for forever.
Yeah, yes. He is a masterful football mind.
Yep. Yes, he is.
And that's what's like I'm excited for people to be like, wow, like our coach just completely outcoached their coach today. And that's why we won.
Yeah.
Like that's gonna blow some people's minds.
Yep. Some more expected win totals from Kelly Ford's ratings. Relevant teams. Nebraska, 12. 2.1. Colorado State, 16th, 1.9. Arizona State, 1.7, in 20th place. Who else we got? Cal, at 35th, 1.1. Michigan State, 0.8, 40th. Oregon, 0.3, and 53.
So this is actually interesting. I think this gives you an interesting perspective on why people are having such a hard time imagining this Colorado turnaround being at the level that people like us think it can be.
Mm-hmm.
They think that the best improvement in the entire country will be 3.8. And this is based off of, I'm sure, some sort of formula that they have.
For sure.
Will be 3.8 wins. And we're talking about a team going from 1 to 6 or more.
Yep.
And so to them, that's like almost unfathomable.
Yeah, it's unprecedented, really.
But I wonder if returning production is one of the metrics that they use.
It probably is.
And that's just going to completely skew anything. I don't think there's a metric that you can use to project Colorado this year.
There's not. And we're going to definitely talk about it as we get closer to the TCU game. But as these EPA and all these stats kind of come out that were based on last year, it's even through the first month of the season. Like, 2 games of data isn't going to be enough to go off of to project a line for the USC game. You know what I mean? Or 3 games, whatever it is.
Right.
So we'll see. That was a good segment.
What?
Shout out to Ibotta. Do you like free stuff, Ryan?
Love it.
How about free money? Ibotta gives you cash back on hundreds of grocery items, from produce to personal care to pantry goods. They give you real cash back, not points like other apps. And the average Ibotta user earns over $120 in real cash back. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using the code DNVR. When you register, just go to the App Store, Google Play Store, and download the free Ibotta app and use code DNVR. That's Ibotta, IBOTTA, in the Google Play or App Store, and use code DNVR. They're also sponsoring RG's Spotlights coverage from the Nuggets. I think the last one came out last week.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it yet.
I know it's like a 45-minute.
Is it really?
Yeah.
The guy went in.
It's
wow.
like a sit down. Like, what
It's
are
a
we
mini
watching
dog.
tonight? Oh, we're gonna watch RG's finals documentary.
All right. So check that out on our YouTube page as well. And then shout out to Shador's number 2. We just got, we got another bottle. We had the whole
I just
weekend.
got restocked. That means because I have maybe a quarter bottle left.
Yeah.
It means I'm gonna get aggressive because I was gonna go really, not to be conservative with it.
Right.
My next meal that involves Shador's, I'm just gonna finish the bottle
Let's
because I know
go.
I have another one in the chamber.
Love that. I've seen a lot of people tagging the Buffs account too. They're getting their hands on it.
When I say it, it's good. It's really good. Yeah. I wouldn't tell you guys that and then have you ruin your barbecue night by believing me on the sauce. No, the sauce is really good.
Yep.
Had it twice this weekend.
I can't
3
wait.
times.
I can't wait to dig into mine with some of that brisket from Pops. Shador's number 2 is a tomato-based, rich, thick, sweet molasses-style barbecue sauce with tangy vinegar, fiery heat. It finishes with a subtle smoky note. Head on over to plbse.com. Use the code ALLCITY, all caps, all one word at checkout. You'll get 10% off your order of Shador's number 2 barbecue.
I thought you were playing us off there. Yeah. It's the end of the Broncos podcast.
All right. I wrote an article at the DNVR.com breaking down all the walk-ons. And we'll talk about not everyone, but some guys who can pop this year. And we'll start with the guy we talked about him on Monday, Israel Solomon. Did you read that feature that came out on him? It was from the Buffs beat of Sports Illustrated.
I did not.
Really good. Just went into his background in terms of an athlete, in terms of where he came from. He's from Dallas, Texas. He's got Jamaican roots. Made his way to Florida after playing in California in high school football to play at IMG.
Okay.
2021, tore his labrum, missed the whole season, came back in 2022 to play for IMG, defensive captain, 45 tackles, 4 interceptions, 5 PDUs, 2.5 sacks, 6-time player of the week.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Guys don't normally ball out like that at places like that and then end up as a walk-on.
Mm-hmm. He said, I was going to follow Coach Prime to Jackson State. I ended up committing to Hawaii right before he was on the move to Colorado. I heard about a camp they were doing and decided to go see what's out there. They said they were looking for dogs, and I'm a dog.
Wow, dude. Remember I said this the other day? I was like, man, the way that people are talking about this guy just makes me think he's legit.
Yeah.
And then you tell me that. I didn't know any of that stuff about him.
Yep.
That makes sense. He's probably very legit.
Oh, yeah. He also said, my dad has been training me in boxing since I was 8. One thing that he instills in me, especially through sports, is being disciplined. Boxing teaches you hand-eye coordination, along with being able to hit and knowing how to use your hands. Also teaches you how to take a punch, and when you get knocked down, to get back up. Talking about Coach Prime, he said, I feel like being able to have a coach like Deion, Coach Prime, is great to maximize my opportunities. He knows the game and the ins and outs of everything. Besides him being in the Hall of Fame and all the work that he's done prior to being at Colorado, he's a great coach. He teaches us what to do and what not to do on and off the field. He grew up a Cowboys fan, too. So you know he knows about Coach Prime and Deion Sanders, the player, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like he's going to be playing cornerback. Finished high school with a 4.0 GPA.
Sheesh.
Yeah, man.
How did he not?
I'm not sure.
Very odd. And apparently he's a hooper.
And he can hoop, yes, according to Cam.
So just an all-around athlete.
Right. Nymir Robinson, the next guy. We talked about him quite a bit already. It's Nate Robinson's son. Looks like he's going to be playing cornerback as well. Picked Colorado over Washington and CSU in terms of preferred walk-on offers.
Washington's where his dad went.
Yep. And his grandfather, I think, as well, who was a running back in college. He had a scholarship offer from Portland State. Declined that. He was actually a 3-star recruit, according to 247 Sports. 205th at his position, 48th cornerback in the state of Washington. But wasn't ranked on the consensus, of course, was a walk-on. But that position room, cornerback, and even we can go to safety here because Ben Finiseth has been making a lot of plays on well-off and stuff. You're about
What
to cry.
is happening? No, I held in a yawn, so I didn't want to be rude. But I did wake up at 6 a.m. this morning to drive down from the mountains. The cornerback room, someone just said in the comments we're thin there. I would say the exact opposite. We are thick at corner.
Yeah.
But there's some exciting walk-ons on this team.
Yep.
And it's no surprise to me that a guy like Israel Solomon or Naeem Robinson, when maybe left with the decision of walk on at a big program or go, get a scholarship at a smaller program, would come to a place at cornerback where they could where they could play for Coach Prime.
Yeah.
Then speaking of Ben Finiseth, who Andre was the first person to mention.
Yeah.
He saw him at that practice, brought him up, got kind of cooked for it, being like, shut up about Ben Finiseth.
Yeah.
Then you've got Cam sitting here telling us Ben's maybe one of his favorite guys on the team.
Yep.
Saying all the praises for Ben Finiseth, and now he's making plays on Well-Off.
Yep. Ben Finiseth. He was a name I knew about last year. So he's kind of been on the up and up.
It's so easy to just ignore a walk-on named Ben Finiseth.
I know.
It's just so easy to be like, yeah, there's no way. Maybe there's a way.
Maybe there is a way. Charlie offered all the next guy. I mean, you guys already know about Charlie. Played at Dakota Ridge out of Littleton, Colorado. Was player of the year, first team All-State for Max Preps as a running back, kick returner, defensive back. He ran track, played lacrosse in high school. Been on CU's roster since 2021. Set a walk-on record for rushing yards last year. And he's a fan favorite now, it seems.
Yeah, certainly. Still to this day, as far as we've seen, the only player to get that type of in-practice praise from Coach Prime.
His former teammate in high school, Dante Cupolongo.
Yes.
Who we hear about from Brandon all the time.
Yes.
And the response from just including his name in the article was pretty outstanding. A lot of fans.
He was serious in high school.
Yeah.
Has a pretty sick highlight reel. And Brandon, got to watch him because his son was considering going there. So they, went to games and just came back singing all the praises. Kind of slot receiver, returner, running, get him the ball in space type of guy.
Right.
Who had a couple flashes.
Last year, he started as a running back, made the move to defensive back after CU had a ton of injuries at corner last season. I believe he played 4 games, kind of rotating in at cornerback and also playing some kick returner. And then he's going to be playing slot receiver this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, just one of those guys is just an athlete. He's also very fast.
Just remember the name. I'll say that.
All right.
To everyone listening.
By the way, according to the chat, Well-Off just dropped and Coach Prime is back.
Let's go.
Love to hear it.
There was a video. He posted a reel, I think, today with Shador that I hadn't seen before. It looked like he was in the facility. So
Let's go. Great to hear.
Great news. Wide receivers. I got 3 guys here who have really stood out from the other walk-ons. Caleb Mathis, Shernay Estes, and Cole Baskia.
All guys who have gotten call-outs. I'll never forget Shador calling out Baskia. Then, Estes, he's just been nice. He's showing up on videos. When we were at practice, he made a sick back shoulder catch for a touchdown. I don't know. Walk-ons are some of the best stories that you get in college football. And there's always going to be one or two who surprise you.
Cole Baskia listed at 6'3", 210. I think we may have underestimated his size and the role he could potentially play because Shador obviously trusts him. He will just throw it up and let him go get it. Saw that multiple times during the spring. Shernay Estes was a breakout kid his last season in high school at Lake Travis High School in Austin, Texas. You already mentioned he's been providing splash plays. And then Caleb Mathis. I mean, probably the most impressive walk-on that we saw outside of Charlie Offered all this spring.
Yeah, do not sleep on Caleb Mathis. Fast, knack for getting open, good hands, relationship with Shador. He kind of has all the mix-ins for what makes a walk-on pop.
Right. All right, a couple more guys, and I'll throw out some names that stood out to me when I did this. Elijah Yelverton, Brady Kopetz at tight end. They're definitely in the conversation. It seems to be the starter this year.
Yep.
Both guys.
Trusted by Coach Prime and by Shador.
And big guys, big tight ends too, which is what Coach Brew is obviously looking for. Champion Johnson, who we saw a lot in the spring game, kind of playing H-back and tight end. I'd imagine we'll see him on the field.
Power 5 experience playing.
Yep. And then just a few guys that stood out to me doing this write-up. Do you know Thomas Notarini?
No.
So he walked onto the team in 2021, took a red shirt, did not see game action last year. This guy was one of the...
4 people in the office are wearing the same shirt as me today.
I almost wore that shirt too.
Yaya's wearing it. Dre's
You're wearing the same shirt as us.
Adam's wearing it.
My DNVR Mount Rushmore's all wearing.
It's crazy.
Thomas Notarini. He was one of the best high school basketball players in the state of California. And decided he had an offer to play at Rutgers.
Oh.
And decided to walk on to play Colorado football instead.
Wow.
He plays linebacker.
How interesting. By the way, let's get some likes going. Still short of 100. We should get to 200 at least.
For sure. Another defensive back that stood out to me, safety Austin Dalkey. You know who that is?
That sounds familiar. I've definitely seen him out there.
So he walked on the CU's roster before the 2021 season. Is yet to see game time. But he was the Gatorade Wisconsin Player of the Year as a two-way player for Edgar High School in Wisconsin a few years ago.
Legit.
So that stood out to me. But you can go check out the whole list at thednvr.com.
My mind is still blown that 4 people in the office are wearing this shirt today.
It's
not-
a
there's
great
no-
damn shirt.
If
What do
the
you
Nuggets
want?
were playing tonight, like it might make
Right.
sense.
Maybe
But-
that's your draft. Best DNVR shirts.
Wow.
I
That'd
still
be-
like. I have to like the other one better.
This would be a good draft, but we might have to mix it in at some point.
How high would the AA shirt go, though? It's up there. Everyone loves it.
Everyone loves it, and
Second overall.
I'll tell you a side note about that after the show.
Okay. It's a cool day outside here in
It
Denver.
is, surprisingly.
Hopefully it's sunny and hot wherever you are. Make sure you have your Shady Rays to take on the sun with gear built to last. Shady Rays, extremely clear polarized lenses, durable frames. Every pair is backed by their lost and broken replacements. If you do not like your pair or if you break them, Shady Rays will replace it, no questions asked. You can shop their entire collection at the Park Meadows Mall. If you missed out on the Independence Day sale, you can still go to shadyrays.com and use code DNVR. You'll get 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Or you can go to the Park Meadows Mall, shop their entire collection there. Try for yourself. The Shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
And we need to be rated 5 stars by 250,000 people.
Yes, we do. On Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Also, subscribe to the podcast, guys. Even if you're watching on YouTube, subscribing to the show or to the podcast helps us out greatly.
Yeah, like you don't even have to listen to it there. Just do us a solid and press subscribe.
Yep. Is the beer of the month still Mountain Beach Sour?
No, because it's July.
Well, this is what I'm being told.
Oh, really? You're being told?
Hey, that's
They're
what,
running it back?
I don't know.
Trying to see the signage down in the bar. I was saying it needs to be Strawberry Sky July, but I don't know if they followed my my advice.
Either way, come down to the DNVR bar. Get yourself a Breck Brew on draft. We got the Mountain Beach Sour. We got the Avalanche Amber Ale, Vanilla Porter Jr., Fun Slinger. We got much more in cans as well. You can find a Breck Brew near you. Use their beer locator. Go to www.breckbrew.com and find one near you. Also, shout out to Illegal Pete's. This episode of the DNVR Buffs Podcast is presented by Illegal Pete's. It's been our go-to spot this entire summer with their extended happy hour, 3 to 8 p.m. every single day. If you go to a Rockies game, make sure you bring in your ticket stub. You'll get a free beer, draft beer, or house margarita. When was the last time you had Illegal Pete's? It's been a minute for me.
I mean, someone was asking me if I've had Saucy Southern yet, and I was like, I haven't even been in Denver since the last time, since that show.
Yeah.
Like I went to Boulder, then I was in Steamboat, so I haven't had. I mean, a Thursday maybe. maybe before that. It's been a while.
Me too. King Mars just followed the podcast on Apple Podcasts. Shout out to you, King Mars.
Let's go. Thank you. That's huge.
All right, yeah. What do we got for questions today, man? Okay.
That's the question you want to show us?
What's good? What's good, Ryan?
It's
I thought it was funny.
everything.
I thought it was a funny question.
All the buffs. That's what's good.
There you go. Luis, did Zay and Shador make it back to Boulder, or they were stuck on a 7-hour flight delay? Jeez,
Dang.
that's a bummer.
Delayed flight. Ooh. One of the just crushes the soul.
Yeah. You ever had to spend a night in an airport?
Yes. Not since I was really young, though.
Yeah, it's one of the most miserable experiences
Yes.
a person can have.
It is the bottom of the barrel. The worst is when, well, there's two sides. I think it's definitely worse when you're trying to go on vacation and
Right.
your thing keeps getting delayed. But also when you're just ready to come home.
Yes.
And
dude.
you're like, all right, fine. Like, I'm ready. I'm here at the airport. I'm ready to leave my vacation. And they're like, oh, by the way, your flight's not coming for 3 more hours.
Oh, it's brutal.
All
I
right,
drove 8 hours though, both ways.
That's impressive, dude. Doing that solo, that's probably the most I would be willing to commit to.
I mean, I've lived in this Four Corners area a lot, so I've done a ton
It's
of
true.
driving.
That's why they call him Four Corners Jake.
That's true. Angela, Coach Prime knows it takes a dog to know a dog. Coach is taking shots at Coach Prime. Don't get it. Coach Prime wants all the smoke. We'll see you be the new you. Old school Hurricanes. If
I
they
can
have
see us
that
having,
attitude,
yeah. I think the first step is being really good at football. That's
True.
something that the U had, and we think that they can get there. But if a Coach Prime Colorado team gets to that level of competing for the conference, competing for a national title, they are going to have that level of swagger.
Oh yeah.
What's next, yeah? Stay with us here.
Lawrence.
We need you to do one thing at once, and that's this.
CU only has 8 total commits for the 24 class. Too early to draw conclusions. Yeah, man. This is
Well, and I think this was in reference to people talking about the staff being elite recruiters in the chat.
well. I mean, I've kind of wanted to talk about this too, and it's been because there's been so many commitments over the last month, a record number of commitments the last month, and CU's last commitment was Aaron Butler, and I can't remember when that was.
A while ago.
That was a while ago. I wouldn't worry about it. We've talked about this a lot, though. If they win games, we know what will happen, in the months after that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still kind of fascinating. Stanford pulling out a ton of 4 stars, UCF.
Yeah. I would say this, though. Most great recruiting is done during the season.
That is true.
You bring in players for that Nebraska game, you're walking away with commitments.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it is surprising, and it almost feels like you're missing out on guys if other schools are getting commits. But a lot of times when you really rake them in is during the season and flip season.
Yep.
The more they commit, the more that can be flipped.
Exactly. It's still all in front of Coach Prime and the Buffs, I think.
Yep.
I'm not sure what this is asking. How many teams deep at tight end?
Like just how many teams, because someone said we're thin at tight end, so someone else said, well, how many teams are deep at tight end?
Oh, Utah's been historically
Yeah.
really good.
But it is true. It's not a very rich position in terms of
Right.
top talent.
That's true. I mean, you really just need one to be
Yeah.
an X factor, and doesn't matter. Or you're just Georgia and you have 8 5-stars.
Well, I don't think we're petty enough for this one.
Mr. Morris, all this doubt. Will you guys have a tracker of writers, coaches, and players that doubted Colorado? It could be something that we follow how they did or what they say as the season goes on.
I'll say this. I am petty enough to bookmark tweets that I think will be wrong in the future. Not petty enough to have a public list of haters.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I've been using the bookmark option a lot, and I
Yep.
encourage you all to do the same.
Seriously. I mean, there are still people rolling out bookmarks on Nuggets tweets. Like, I'm pretty sure this one guy is like, all right, I got 500 of these. I'm just going to ration them out across the summer. He rolls out like 3 a day of just people who said something dumb about the Nuggets.
The beautiful thing about this, too, is even if Colorado starts to win, you're going to hear it every step of the way.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
their week 1 win was a fluke.
Yep. TCU wasn't actually that good.
Why Colorado's the worst 3-1 team ever.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff.
Yep, for sure.
Where can you buy my hat? Go to 10th and Uni. Shout out to
Man.
those guys.
Great investment by them sending you that hat for free because you wear it a lot and people always ask where you got it.
It's a sick hat. What
It is
can I
a sick
say?
hat. It is a sick hat.
Angela, are we witnessing how a coach with a gold jacket differs from those without one? The elite get to Canton. Coach Prime knows the skills dogs must have. I mean,
Are there any other coaches in Canton? I don't think so.
not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame
Yeah.
that I can think of.
Trent Dilfer didn't quite make it in.
No. He does have a Super Bowl ring, though.
Ed Reed would have been the only other one.
That's true. I wonder what he's up to.
I don't know.
He's been very quiet since the whole Bethune-Cookman thing.
Probably just enjoying retirement, I would hope.
But he's got to have the.
Oh, yeah. He has
knack.
the itch for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't seen the last of him. How many wins are we predicting?
I've been saying between 5 and 7. I'm hoping we get to lay eyes on these guys in fall camp a few times.
Yeah.
And I'll have a more dialed in prediction. But for now, somewhere in that range.
Yep, same. 5 to 6. Eric's asking, how did everyone pass on Israel Solomon?
I mean, we already talked about that, but it's pretty crazy. He's
It is
kind of
really
got
crazy.
everything you would want. He's 4.0 student, production at a big high school. Like, there's got to be, I'm guessing there's something that we're missing or something everyone in the country missed, which is a baller.
Well, he did have that labrum injury in 2021. He lost a whole season of football. But
That's not even that bad of an injury in terms
Right.
of football.
and he did come back from it already. He has moved around a lot too. I don't know if that's factored in.
Okay.
But I mean, this guy has no stars, no ratings on 247.
Very interesting.
Could be a reclassified player too,
Yeah.
because he walked on quite late. So I don't know if he had like graduated high school early or something. I don't know.
Hopefully, everyone else's screw up is the Buffs' treasure.
For sure. Nicholas, the record for interceptions for CU in a season is 7. Do you guys think that could be broken? That's just by a player, right?
Yes, I actually think it could be
Yeah.
by Cormani because I just think everyone's going to avoid Travis
Yep.
and he's going to get his chances. Or, maybe someone in that safety group, but I think they're going to be flipping around. I am more and more convinced that Cormani is going to live up to the hype by the day.
Me too. Yeah, talking to Landlin from Polkway got me really excited.
And you just talk to these players, and I just generally think players are skeptical about 5-star guys, just because most of them aren't 5 stars. And they're
Right.
like, oh yeah, let's see what all this hype is about, Mr.
Yeah.
5-star. And like, the players are kind of like, no, he's legit.
Yeah. Big Teasy, any guess why Cormani wasn't working out away from the team all in Boulder? I don't know, guys. I do not know. Is Cormani going to wear number 1 or another player?
There was something that came out that said he wanted to wear number 1. Did you ever?
I think he said it during a
live?
YouTube live or something like that. Yeah,
That would look so good on him.
it would.
That lengthy players with a number 1. Oof.
If Travis
7's off the board.
Yeah, if Travis doesn't want it, give it to Cormani. Why
Yeah,
not?
we know Travis doesn't want it. He wants 12.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Big 21. Which last year Buff player you think is going to help out their new team?
Oh, new team. So transfer.
So transfers.
Owen McCown.
That would be fun.
Yeah. He's got Roadrunner in him.
I still love my guy Deion Smith. I hope he does well at BYU.
Yeah. For sure. I think there's going to be more. A lot of those guys went to levels where I think they can really play.
For sure. Yeah.
So it'll be exciting for them.
Yep.
I'll be pulling for Owen though. All of
Yeah.
them, but I want to see Owen ball. Like if UTSA is on like a Friday night and Owen McCown is starting, I'll be like hyped to watch it.
Hell yeah.
I have whole graphic for Owen McCown, too.
Oh yeah.
We wish Owen well. I think they have a veteran quarterback in front of him though.
Okay, maybe next year.
So we'll see. Anything else?
I think that's
Eric, do you think the recruits who wanted to commit to Colorado committed to other schools because they wanted to see if Prime can build Colorado into a winner? Of course.
I think there'll be some like that. Yeah, I think some will be skeptical. I think there's a lot more who will just be like, no, this guy's going to win.
Yeah. Yeah. The Brandon Davis Swains of the world who
Yeah.
are like, I already know what's going to happen here.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Fun show. We'll be back tomorrow. Go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.